welcome to the Master of Unlocking podcast. Today is November 7th, 2019. I believe this is Death Stranding Eve. So you will have no Death Stranding talk here yet.
We got to finish by midnight so we can go grab it.
Something like, no, I don't do that anymore. That's for sure.
Yeah, no.
So anyway, I'm Logan. Across from me is, I can't think of a good thing today, Jason.
That's quite the nickname you just gave me.
I know.
I can't think of a good thing today, Jason.
I've had these great titles for you guys the last couple things, and then I don't know why I've just lost it.
Yeah, they were great.
Yeah, they were real good.
Great.
The allergist capital of the world, Caleb over here.
Yeah, that's basically me.
Yeah, Captain Allergy over here.
Sounded good, Caleb.
Oh yeah, I'm
you were
just
100%
crisp and just 100%
full
on
of
top
full
of my
of
voice.
Flonase and antibiotics and other stuff,
and steroids and all kinds of good stuff.
Hey, I have something that I wanted to workshop with you guys real quick.
Sure.
Considering that the three views of this podcast and listens will be the three of us. What if we condensed this down into like a no bullshit like podcast?
What do you mean?
What if we just got right to it? Like, what if because I think that I'm thinking about market inequities, and it seems like
You're thinking what?
market inequities.
Okay. Back up a
sorry. So gaps, right? And
Okay.
when you have a product that fills a gap, that's a market inequity.
Yeah.
So when Wheels, I'm doing exactly what I'm pitching against. Sorry, but there I'm doing
Right.
it. When wheels were added to suitcases, that happened in the 70s. And suitcases had been around, I don't know, since forever.
Okay.
And so that was a market inequity. And wheels on suitcases had to have made someone rich, right?
Okay.
They identified a gap, a thing that was needed, and now all suitcases have wheels because they filled a need. That was a market inequity.
Okay.
Correct.
So I think that we listen to podcasts. I listen to a lot of sports podcasts. Caleb does a lot of gaming podcasts. Logan, you do
Penis podcast.
Yes, strictly cock and balls, or maybe just cock. So there's always like hey, how's it going? How are you? What's new with you? And because they're based on personalities. But what if we gave the people what they wanted? What if we just gave them the games?
Oh, I see what you're saying, but the reason that I listen to the podcasts I listen to are because I like the people on them.
And the conversations they have. So if we just went through and we had so you're talking like a 5-minute podcast where we literally...
No, not 5 minutes. I'm just talking about strictly the games. And you can go on a tangent about the games, but instead of hey, how's it going? How are things? And any kind of extra filler, what you been playing? Talk about that. Okay, what else have you been playing? Talk about that. All right, thanks, guy. Goodbye.
Okay, so we're starting over again. All right, hello and welcome to the Master of Unlocking podcast. My name is Logan. I am the host. Jason, across from me, say hello.
Hi.
Caleb, say hello.
I played Control, and I'd like to talk about it.
I would too. Control is really good. I like Control a lot.
It's very good. Okay, next game.
This is all going great.
All right.
So just to further diverge this conversation and go against what you're saying.
Okay, perfect.
One of the things that I've been watching is a show called On Cinema. It's called On Cinema at the Cinema. It's Tim Heidecker from Tim and Eric.
Yeah.
Sure.
He's the host of the show, and he has not a co-host.
Is he the short one? He's the short one.
He's the blonde one. So yes.
Okay.
Again, I would have to say
the shorter one.
Yeah, the shorter one. Okay.
Yeah.
He wasn't the mayor. He was Tom that went to the mayor.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
So he their show it's like a 10-minute kind of video podcast where they review 2 movies every week.
In 10 minutes?
Yeah. But here's the hook is that it's like a parody of podcasts where they talk for 10 minutes and actually don't say anything. So I feel like that's what we could do. Just be like, yeah, Control is great. Yeah, it's really good. You should play Control.
Superb.
And it's bags of pop. It gets 5 bags of popcorn. All right, we'll move on.
That many bags of popcorn? Wow. That's like 5 cheeseburgers out of 2 Big Macs. Solve that equation, Logan.
2x equals y plus b.
4 total patties,
right.
and then extra patty, and then
there's minus
the
sauce.
The bun out of the middle, and then made. Yeah, that's 5 burgers.
Yeah, we're
isn't
good.
It? Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's 4.5, I think.
Oh, is it only 3?
Yeah. Except I don't know. Math is hard. Okay. Anyway, yeah. Actually, let's get to Control though.
I'm excited to hear what you guys think about it because I had completed that when we talked last time, but I was the only one.
That's right. And I think I played it probably the week after. Caleb, you and I played it pretty close to the same time. Yeah. We were actually comparing, I shouldn't say notes, but where we were. So boy, that game went places.
Elaborate.
Well, from a storyline perspective, of going through all of the different. Gosh, I mean, all the psychology of everything. I mean, it went through like all of like Jung's philosophies through everything, and how the subconscious and unconscious, not the subconscious was, it was more the conscious and unconscious, and how that all plays along with the real world and the astral plane world, and how the powers really work inside. Was it the old building?
Oh, the old house.
Old house. Okay, I knew it was like old something.
Which is the main quest line, right?
Right, yeah. Which, I mean, did you guys do much side questing at all?
I would say maybe like 25% of it.
I think I was probably about the same.
I did almost everything that I found, but I know I didn't find everything either.
Okay, did you fight like a big boss? Did you fight any bosses?
Yeah.
I did too.
The thing was, the most of the side quest stuff was not great to me.
No.
So I kind of, just, towards the end, there were a couple of quests that I had still in my log. One of them was to like go find some mushrooms or something, and I'm like, I don't really want to do that, so I just went on and finished
fair.
the game.
Yeah, I think I just was like, I need to move on to something else. It was just because I would not mind going back to that and doing more side quests, just because I like that world and I like messing around with the weird abilities and stuff. And
I'm with you on the world. I really enjoyed the world and the story that they built and all the stuff in there. The actual playing of the game, though, it never really clicked with me the way I wanted it to.
What's your least favorite part of the gameplay?
Just the shooting and the powers. Like, I just didn't feel like...
So all of it.
Yeah.
I mean, so, the shooting, the powers, the floating,
the like traversal and stuff, I think is fine. Like the just actually moving around and like the abilities that you get that give you like extra options on how I don't want to spoil things, but like how to get around easier. That stuff is cool. But when there are enemies on screen, I found myself just being like, ugh, more enemies. I just want to go to the next spot.
Okay.
See, I really like the combat.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I liked it a lot. I didn't use a lot of some of the later abilities, I guess, like some of the shield abilities. I mean, they kind of got to talk about it a little bit, some of them, but so I never found I found myself kind of sticking to some of the first few abilities a little more and I didn't even switch. I never switched guns really at all. I tried switching to like the piercing gun, the closer range one, but I just didn't really like it that well.
Caleb and I talked about this a little bit already. Do you think that if you had built your character differently, you would have enjoyed it more? Because I feel like you can. One of the things about Control that I remember. It's been a few months now, but I feel like that if I hadn't gotten lucky with how I allocated my resources, I could have very easily built a character that I didn't like, but just kind of lucked into what I wanted to do. Because unless you do all the side quests, you're not going to see all of those abilities.
Right.
No, yeah, there was one of the major abilities I didn't even get until after the game was over.
And that's amazing to me. I think, and I think that is one thing that disappoints me about Control is that they would allow you, because I one of the major abilities for me, or the last major ability I think that I got that I used was maybe 80% the way through, and to me I felt like it's like that's like criminal. Like, it's way too late to be introducing powers into a game. Like 50-60% is kind of standard if it's a killer power, but like that late into a game to have something unlock that important on a skill tree,
I'm trying to remember what ability that was, because I mean the one I think it was supposed to be the third ability you unlocked, which I think was the shield thing, was the one that I didn't do until the end.
Yeah, the shield was kind of back in a hallway.
It was like in a left hallway. It was like the main story mission was to the right, and that was to the left, and I just went to the right and forgot all about it. And it was kind of like, oh, oops, I guess this is one of those. It's not an object of importance. There was
objects of power and
AWE's Altered World events.
Yeah.
Or it was an object of power. The objects of power were the
objects of power.
That's what gave you the powers, and then the Altered World events were different other things.
Yes.
That's the only bad thing I have to say about that. That you would get that far and have an important ability after the game's over.
Yeah, I went and got it after it was over with.
I mean, in fairness, like I got that ability like when it came up, and I never used it once.
I didn't use it either. Yeah.
It just didn't seem useful to me.
So, did you use telekinesis quite a bit?
Yeah. That's like exclusively what I use. It's just throw stuff at people and
it was more powerful than the gun usually. Yeah. I mean, it
break a shield and then shoot them a couple of times and they're down.
Yeah, I spent all my resources in TK.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
It seems like I guess that would be the weakness of that game, is like the abilities don't really seem necessary or useful enough to switch off from the initial one. Like they give you all this stuff, but then there's a lot of people out there that will just never use it.
No.
I think that's kind of that needs to be balanced a little bit better, so that like I would have loved it if we came to the table and it's like, oh, you didn't use this because I found that extremely useful. I think the guns were a little bit better in that way. Like I used the gun that like did a charge shot because it like destroyed shields super easily. But I know some other people liked, like you said, the shotgun type thing.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people liked that.
What it was called.
And you used
just the handgun.
Just the handgun.
Me too. I was pretty much mostly exclusively handgun. I tried the piercer gun.
It was the headshot thing with the handgun. It was easy to really pinpoint damage and get big damage with headshots.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty auto aim friendly game when it comes to that stuff.
It was. I think that was one of the first problems I was having, is I wasn't letting it aim on its own, and I was getting frustrated with it, and it was like, oh no, like once I kind of let the game do what it was trying to do, it felt better. It was, for me, it was kind of like, oh, this is like a shouldn't say grown up, but a more story based psyops, because of like the fact that you used more of I used more of the TK, so it was where you didn't use, like in PsyOps you had some of those like, oh, you had to use your things to move these blocks around, like use your telekinetic abilities. This was just all combat. You really didn't have to do a whole lot of puzzly stuff with your TK in this, but all the weird, I went around and picked up every single document. I think I read almost all of them.
Oh, wow.
Because I enjoyed reading all that stuff. I was really interested in everything. All the maze was incredible. Like all the room that you just went and sat in, like the recording studio room, and just sat. I just sat there and listened to that whole song, thinking something was going to happen. Nothing happened. But it was just funny that it was there.
The children's TV show that they made on the TV.
Yeah,
that's really cool. I think my favorite part of that game is when you get to the guy that's just staring at the refrigerator.
Oh yeah,
I felt so bad for that guy.
I can't blink. Somebody come help me.
Oh man! And then you have to go do something else before you can come back.
Yep.
Yeah,
poor guy.
I didn't even do that until the end of the game, because I was just like, he's fine. He's been sitting here for hours. What's another few days?
There's a lot of really interesting. I don't know. Maybe we should do a spoiler cast on Control, because there's a lot of really interesting ways that you can think about the story and what is what and what is grounded and what isn't grounded, and I don't know, and what is conscious versus subconscious, and what was
real in that game, what wasn't.
Like, is any of it? Like, is
that
some
also
of it,
also a good question?
And near the end, it does a really good job of making you kind of as the director of the, what is it, Federal Bureau of Control,
the FBC. Yeah.
So as you get to the end there, it's like, this is kind of up to you. You know, what this is and what happened here really is up to you.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of I like it a lot. I think it's neat.
I think it's really cool too. It's one of those games that I actually just looked up recently. Like, it's going to be one of those games that's like $25 on Black Friday. And there's DLC coming out for it with new story stuff and everything. There's going to be something that supposedly links it to Alan Wake.
There already are links.
There already are, but I guess there's going to be a direct link, like a direct story link to it, not just background paperwork that links it to Alan Wake.
So is this supposed to happen in the same universe?
Yeah, so it's all.
I did not know that.
There's if you read a lot of the papers in the thing or the different documents you pick up, they specifically refer to Alan Wake writing certain things down about his experience in Washington and all this stuff.
Interesting.
And it's all in the same world. Now, if Quantum Break's in the same world, I don't know, but
where's Max Payne in the
Max
same
Payne
world?
could be in the same world.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, I mean, is flying through the air at bullet time an altered world event? It sounds like it is to me, but.
Max Payne's real good.
Max Payne's good.
I love me some Max Payne.
So yeah, I'm curious where this is going to land us in Game of the Year.
I'm curious about a lot of the games this year and where they'll land on our list. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
I am too.
It's an interesting year.
Yeah, I agree. Anything else on Control? I think otherwise we're getting into super story stuff here.
I don't have anything else to say without spoiling it.
That's kind of the same here. So, Caleb, you want to hit us up with anything random you've been playing?
Have you been playing any Dota Underlords?
I have.
We haven't really talked about that since they did the big update.
Yeah, the big update with like the hero now.
You have your Underlord now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still trying to decide if I like it or not. I'm having a lot of trouble with it now. I'm getting consistently wiped like very early.
I'm still like middle of the pack. So I'm not getting, I was consistently finishing, decently like top 4, but now I'm like 6-5-4. Somewhere around there.
It seems like you really have to concentrate now on having a mix between defensive and offensive units and then protecting your offensive units.
Yeah.
Before you could kind of get away with having whatever kind of comp you wanted. Yeah. But now it seems like you really have to concentrate on that.
So my entire strategy has changed, and they added how many new characters? I mean, there's 12 new characters, and you're trying to figure out who they are and what they do.
Jason will explain that part to you. So they added like 12 new heroes. I think it's 12 to the pool. But when you play that game, you want to draft a bunch of the same type of heroes so that you can upgrade them. So in adding a bunch of heroes, that dilutes the pool a little bit, so you don't see the ones you need a lot.
Yeah.
So every 24 hours, they put 12 of them in jail, meaning they're not going to show up in your pool at all. So that kind of the game changes every single day,
because then you're not sure like what archetypes you want to build up, because they might be if you want to build 4 of that archetype up. Archetype up. Is that what the thing I'm looking for? It's like a class.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Don't point it out. Move on.
Okay, they're class, but because when you get more of them, you stack their abilities, and the more you stack their abilities, the higher up you get boosts for. But if some of those people are in jail, then you may not have enough to do that. So if we shouldn't say you have enough.
No, there was always enough to complete all of.
There is always enough to complete
synergies.
Okay, see, I don't know the world. I just play the game.
Yeah, they did say that there will always be enough to complete every synergy. But for instance, like with trolls, you have to have 4 trolls to get the full synergy.
Right.
And really, Troll Warlord is the only. He's the 5-star. They call him the capstone hero. And if you or 5 gold unit, I should say. But if he's in jail for the day, then yes, you could still come up with the 4 trolls, but they're all going to be really low level units.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like there's a quick, easy way to identify who's in jail every day.
Yeah, there is. There's just a button in the top right that's a jail icon. You click on that.
Okay.
That's it.
Now, is that pre getting into game, or is that already when you're in game?
Both.
Okay.
When you're in the game, it shows up in the draft pool.
Okay.
There's a little jail icon next to it. You can just click that.
Gotcha. Okay. Because you see, like, that update was so big. Like, reading through all the patch notes of that, it was like, there's a lot going on here.
Crazy.
There's a couple new classes too. There's the medic class.
Yep, and insects.
Insects, that's right. Yeah,
and I think there's more than that too, but I don't remember off the top of my head. But
so
yeah, I'm really curious if and when that game actually gets a official, hey, it's out now, because it seems like they.
And then at what point do they then monetize it? Too?
Yeah,
because right now it's a free game, and I'm not sure.
They did say it's always going to be free.
Okay, but there will be some sort of monetization.
Money.
But but is it going to be is it a pay to win, or is it just going to be?
I'm assuming hopefully it'll be the same way that they've handled Dota, in that everything you pay is only cosmetic.
Okay.
But we'll see. I'm curious to see where that game goes, because it did start out basically like all of the other auto chess games out there, and now it's like a completely different game.
Right. So I don't know if I like the completely different game. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm just curious how much more I'm going to play it, as I've fallen off of it pretty hard.
Yeah.
Since the update, I think I probably played 5 games of the new update, and I think you and I talked about this before too. They changed some of the UI of it, and so on mobile it's really small now.
Really small, yeah.
So they've definitely catered toward the PC player on that. And I'm hoping maybe that comes in an update that they say, oh yeah, let's go back to that nice artwork that we had, and that you can actually see what's going on.
The initial mobile version was kind of the same way, and they did eventually fix it. So
I must have played it after the first fix. So okay, sorry, Jason's over there like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. That's fine.
Another thing I played a little bit of Ukulele and the Impossible Lair.
Oh yeah.
I played this. You played it at PAX as well.
Yeah, you
right?
and I played it at PAX a little bit. Yeah, it was a side scroller.
Yeah, and I really liked what I played at PAX, and I was really excited for it. I got about halfway through, and I got kind of lost interest in it.
Oh no.
It's the overworld part of it I really like. I think it's really cool. But once you get into a level, it's just a very generic side scroller when you're in there. So
I think I heard about this. There's something with the way that you can basically go straight to the ending.
Yes,
in this game.
That is really cool about this game. As soon as you get through the tutorial, the very first thing you can do is the Impossible Lair. And basically I think there's 40 some levels in the game. Yeah. And every time you complete a level in the game, you get a golden bee, I think it is. And the bees, when you're in the Impossible Lair, give you an extra hit point.
Right.
So if you just go immediately into the Impossible Lair and you get hit once, you die. If you've completed one level and got a bee, you get an extra hit.
Right.
So you get up to 42 hits that you can take in the Impossible Lair. And apparently, even if you do have all 42, it's still pretty difficult to do.
So this is where I was thinking, Jason, of you, this seems like this is a great game for like awesome games done quick, like games done quick stuff, because you're going to have people who are going to try to do the Impossible Lair without ever completing a level.
Yep.
Or going through and being like, I'm going to complete 2 levels and then I can do the Impossible Lair. So,
and it's already been done.
It's already been done without
people have done it.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous to me, but I tried the Impossible Lair once with I think I had 5 or 6 just to see what it was. Mm-hmm. And it shows you the percentage that you got through. And I got through, I think 8% or something like that.
Wow.
So I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't even come close.
I guess I'm going to need a few more lives here.
Yeah, but I think that is really cool. And like I said, when you're out in that overworld and you're just kind of, puzzling together what to do, you're interacting with the NPCs, you're getting abilities, stuff like that. I think all that stuff is really cool. Just when you get into a level, it's just kind of, this is a side scroller.
Side scroller.
Yeah. But they were just, Playtonic is the developer, and they were just acquired by Microsoft. So I'm really curious to see what they do next. I hope they go back to the 3D stuff.
This isn't on Game Pass, is it?
No.
The other Ukulele is on Game Pass. The first one is now. I remember I saw it the other day, but I was like, wait, this isn't the new one.
It certainly is pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a very nice aesthetic, very colorful.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What do you want to hit on next? Or
Jason, you haven't talked in a long time.
You want to?
I really haven't. I played I played Gears of War with Logan.
Mhm.
That's
that wasn't even on my list, but yes, I also played
We're on
Yeah,
what?
Gears
late
5.
chapter 3 somewhere, I think is where we're
that
at.
sounds right.
Yeah.
We finished it. I finished it with a buddy.
Is your friend guy?
Not your guy, buddy.
To me, it's a solid Gears game. I think that the open world stuff was completely unnecessary.
And it's not fun either. Like that's been I feel like it's been the slog of it is like, okay, I guess we're gonna hop on this thing and go
And
ride around for a couple minutes.
I don't want to spoil things for you, but in the last bit, you do have to go back and forth to places you've already been before too. So it's just like, really, we were already there. Let's move on.
Yeah, we need to finish that one of these days.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
We need to do it before end of the year, that's for sure. But we're probably pretty close. I mean, at this point, I'd say we're probably
Can't be that much longer.
a few hours off or something.
That game looks really nice.
Oh yeah, it looks great and it plays fine. It's a Gears game. It's just that open world stuff is just I could definitely live without it.
Yeah, me too. I been a big this year's been weird for me. I really enjoy playing multiplayer games this year.
Mm-hmm.
And Gears 5 has done a really nice job of balancing, and maybe I talked about this with the beta stuff, so forgive me if I'm repeating myself, but they've done a really nice job of balancing Lancer versus shotgun and making incentivizing you to not always Nash your way through. There is still rolling shotgun because people have been skilled at that, and it is a Gears of War game, so there's a balance there. Like you have to be able to roll through some Lancer and roll through some misplaced shotgun, and if you get through there, if somebody makes a mistake, then it blow them apart. Like that is still there, especially with a hot reload shotgun. But the Lancer does a good job of doing quite a bit of damage on the way, especially with hot reload. And then you have to have your shotgun really well placed, and there's less forgiveness with blind fire. So they've done I think they've done a nice job of trying to solve the rolling Nasher problem, because for new players, that has always been like the impenetrable thing.
Yeah.
Like, I would like to try this. Okay, I'm going to give this a shot. Oh my God, I got my ass
Is
kicked.
it still pretty much primarily very close range, everything? Or can you succeed by being far away from people?
You can, and it's especially the newer maps, they do a nice job of weapon loadouts. So the most powerful weapon is always in the middle of the map, and then if you want to hang back, usually the peripheral weapons, the distance weapons are on the periphery is what I'm trying to say. So if you want to hang back, you can, or if you want to dive into the fray and use cover, you can. But it is an effective way to play, and you can even do it with the Lancer. Like, it's a viable option right away, especially like if you're in your corridor and you're paying attention to what's going on in the middle, and someone is rolling around shotgun and your guys out there are not paying attention to you, you can drop that dude with a Lancer, no problem. Which is, I think, a little bit of a good change compared to where they've been in the past.
Yeah, in the past, I didn't play a ton, but I did play some, I think it was Gears 3 multiplayer.
It was probably when it was at its worst.
It was basically like,
Yeah.
the Lancer felt like you could just pump 3 rounds, or like 3 clips of ammo into a guy and he'd still be fine.
And then you just roll up to you with a shotgun and you'd be dead.
And you're dead.
It's funny you mention that, because that's when it's at its worst.
Yeah.
It was at its worst during 3. Yeah. So I think the story mode is okay, but I really, really enjoy playing the multiplayer.
You played any other modes at all?
TDM, and then there's a mode, I can't remember the name of it, forgive me, where you have weapon loadouts that you buy. I can't remember what that is. It's pretty effective. So you start out with weapons that you wouldn't normally do. It's kind of like gun game with Call of Duty.
But you're not using real currency. It's in-game currency.
No.
Okay.
It's based on kills
and
production and downs and stuff like that.
All right.
And so if you want to be a shotgun guy, you need to earn your way to that shotgun. And it's only, I think the Nasher comes in 6 rounds. So those games also are pretty entry-level friendly. Because it sounds like it's not, but it totally is, because the playing field is even and everyone's got the same kind of weaker weapons. and then they choose what they want to upgrade. And even when someone does get a Nasher, if he's Nasher guy, he's only got 6 rounds on it.
Can you skip guns?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to kind of tier your way through that, and how you spend your currency is up to you.
Okay.
I can't remember the name of that game mode, but
fine.
if you were gonna like try to just experience multiplayer Gears 5, that's the mode. That's definitely the mode, because it does a nice job of balancing experienced players and like first timers.
Yeah.
You can do some damage as a first timer. You really can, which is shocking for a Gears game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder about like horde mode and stuff like that. If that's even worse, I haven't checked out a horde mode probably since I think we might have done like a Gears 3, but like Gears 2, I think we played a lot of horde mode.
Well, it was new.
Yeah, it was new. We were like, yeah, we're gonna get to level 50.
Yeah,
we're gonna do this.
It was really
and, like,
novel at the time. Horde mode was a thing. I know that Gears is a little worn out, and I understand that, but you guys know me. Like my favorite games are the games that set standards and change things. And Gears of War 1 came out and it changed things. Like it wasn't something that people had seen before. They hadn't seen console graphics like that before. They hadn't seen visceral violence like that before.
Chainsaws.
Yeah. Like it was just like, have you played this?
Lots of blood.
No. Yeah. How do I play this? You got to buy an Xbox. Okay, I'm buying an Xbox.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
it sold a lot of Xboxes.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
It moved 360s. And then 2, when Horde mode came out, like it was new. It was fresh. Now everything has a Horde mode.
Right.
But at that time,
that's kind of at this point it's flipped all the way around. That's kind of the lazy way to approach a game. Is just it's just a Horde mode.
waves.
Yeah.
Great. Another wave.
Another
Awesome.
wave enemies,
But at the
whatever.
time, I remember Logan and I were like, we had just recently become adults, and we were like, oh god. It's like 11:30 at night, and we were like, wave 43, baby.
Like, we're gonna keep going. We can do this.
We can do this.
Good thing we didn't have kids at the time, man. We would have never made it. Yeah.
But I think fondly of the first 2 Gears.
Do they still have the mode where you can play as the enemies?
I think so. I think that
was fun. I remember that being fun.
I think that's part of. I think that was in 3. I think that was kind of like the cool thing. It was like, oh, you can be reverse horde mode, and it was like you can be the locusts and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that's still part of the game. I don't know, not 100% sure, but I think it is.
Yeah. So we'll finish that, right? Yeah.
Well, finish the fight.
Are you glad you finished it? Did you enjoy it enough to finish it?
We both enjoyed it enough to finish it, but. The consensus at the end was just like
it had its problems.
It really could have been like 2 or 3 hours shorter, and that just means you could take out the open world parts, and it would have actually benefited from that.
Bummer. Okay.
Yeah. What's next on our list?
Caleb, how big is your list?
Not very.
I've got a couple other things on my list too, but
I've played 2 other games. Logan, what about you?
I have played 4 other games.
Okay, then we need to go through maybe a game that you've played.
Oh, okay.
He's wasting time. Games.
Okay, sorry. Should we go? You want to go big game or little game?
Little game.
Little
big
game.
All right, you go now, Caleb.
Okay.
Little game or big game?
I said little game.
Little game. Big game or little game?
Do it.
Big game.
1, 2, 3.
What are we doing again?
I don't know. Little game. Okay. What's golf?
Oh, okay. That's on. Yeah, that's
go
on my list too.
I don't know what that is.
Okay. What the Golf is one of the games on Apple Arcade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Apple Arcade.
It's also available on the Epic Store, I believe.
I believe you're right. I think it's coming to PS4 as well. I don't think it's there yet, but it's like $20 on the Epic Store, isn't it? Something
10.
weird.
I think it's 10.
It's 10. Okay. So right now, you can do a what you call it? Yeah, you can do a 1 month free trial for Apple Arcade. Yeah, it is very just like I don't even like. Basically, it's just here. It starts off with like, yeah, here you're gonna put a ball in a hole, like that's what you do, like, and it's kind of like I guess what you call it, like the Angry Bird style where you're flicking it.
Yeah. Everything you do in the game is like a flick.
Yeah, it's like you're just flicking stuff into the pin. But the thing is it's not just a ball. It's next thing you know, it's your golf club, and then it's the picnic table. And then
the game mode completely changes, and you're doing something completely different.
Right, and then it's like now all of a sudden you're in like a building, and you're like trying to get it in, like it's like miniature golf.
The best way I've heard it described is it's kind of a golf version of WarioWare.
Yeah.
Where you're just kind of, it's a new mini game pretty much every time you go in. It always has the same mechanic, but you're doing something completely different.
Okay.
And it also takes, like, there are entire levels and stretches where it's themed around a different video game. And, like, I want to throw, do you care if I throw one out there?
No.
There's a super hot level.
Interesting.
Where the enemies only move
I'm
when
looking
you
at
do.
it right now.
And it's,
Super putt.
yeah, it's really good. That part's really good. There's a bunch of different video games that it emulates, but you're always doing that little flick mechanic.
Did I just see Custer's Revenge?
Maybe.
Wow.
The only negative thing I can say about the game is I'm stuck at 99% because there's a bug. I know. There's one chest that just I can't open, and I'm not going to just restart the game. It took me like 12 hours. So I'm not going to restart it just to do that.
No, I've only played probably about a half hour of it, but
I'm keeping it installed just in case they patch it.
I'm planning on playing it I'm going on a trip here, so it's going to be a plain game.
Is this a known bug? Are you on forums?
Yes,
and
it is a known bug. And the worst part is that the developer said that they fixed the bug in the latest patch, and it did not.
Reminds me of my Stardew
Yep.
thing where he kept saying he fixed it, and then my save was still corrupted.
Yep. But I've completed every level. I literally need to open one chest, and that's it. So, and I don't think there's much of anything after that anyway. So
Gamers everywhere feel your pain.
But yeah,
we've all had that happen.
Having it stuck at 99% is
the worst.
Yep. But overall, I really like it. And Apple Arcade is only $5 a month. If you even after that free month.
Yeah, I'll kind of see. I'm going to play a couple. I've got a couple other things downloaded. So we'll see. Like what was Assemble
with Care.
Assemble with Care. So we'll see kind of what I end up playing.
I would also say Grindstone is pretty good.
Sounds hot.
Mini Motorways.
Mini Motorways is another one I heard.
Sounds not as hot.
Sayonara Wild Hearts is also
I didn't
something.
like Sayonara Wild Hearts.
I've heard mixed reviews. I've heard that, but I've also heard it's only like 40 minutes long.
Yeah.
So
I didn't even finish it. So that tells you how much I like it.
So,
but yeah, there's some good stuff on there. I think that they did a really good job of curating some good stuff to launch with it. And there's a bunch of stuff launching like constantly.
I guess that's the question is how much are they going to keep it up? Like, because even the same with like Apple TV Plus.
So
like,
far, they've been doing a really good job on the arcade. TV doesn't seem like they've been doing a great job.
No, but there's already something new coming out like first part of December with that. That's for TV discussion another day.
Are you talking about C?
Yeah, C is getting really bad reviews. The
concept is really bad to me.
It seems bad. I've heard For All Mankind is good. I've heard The Morning Show is better than what critics are saying. And there's a new M. Night Shyamalan show coming that looks interesting. It's where this couple hires a nanny for their baby, but like the twist is that the baby's dead and that it's actually a doll that she's caring for. And so the mom is completely nuts and like wants to keep this doll because and so she's treating it just like the baby's alive, but then they hire a nanny for the doll and then the nanny also thinks it's completely normal. And the dad's like,
I might be kind of in on that.
I'm like, this looks interesting. Like, okay, like I'm in on this too. So I was like, all right, well,
speaking of creepy things, moving it back to video games.
Yeah.
I've been playing Luigi's Mansion.
So have I.
Do you not like it?
The controls are so bad.
Oh, really? I haven't had any trouble.
Oh my God, they're terrible. The right stick within that game is just.
Did you switch it to there's two ways you can control.
Okay.
So the default is that it's relative. The right stick is relative. So if Luigi is facing towards the screen, for instance, and you hit right on that right stick, he's going to move left because it's relative to him. But you can change that in the settings.
Well, it also didn't give you the option to invert the axis either.
Oh, okay.
And for Mr. Invert Access, that game, I couldn't do it.
Go in and flip that because you can do it. You can do absolute positioning. which means if you go right, it's always going to go right.
Right, but it would still go up when you goes up.
You can't. The drawback to that is you can't go up. You can't use the right stick to
move up and down
anymore.
Yeah,
you have to use the gyroscope to do that.
Yeah,
but that's the way I've been playing, and
maybe
that no problems with it.
Oh, I didn't realize that was even a thing.
Yeah.
So
go ahead, try that.
Well, I'm done.
Oh, okay. You finished
so
it?
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm completely done with it. I went through that whole thing in 5 days, which was probably also part of the problem.
I'm on floor like 9, I think.
Yeah, there's 15 floors. Have you come across the cat?
Yeah. And then had to backtrack a bunch with the cat.
It doesn't stop.
Yeah. That was really annoying.
Yeah, so wait for it to happen again, and you're just going to go, fuck this game.
Again?
It happens again.
Oh, no.
And you're going to be pissed off.
Although the fights were kind of fun with the cat, so I didn't really mind it that much.
No, the last one's terrible.
Oh, okay.
The last one is absolutely terrible. I wanted to throw my controller. That was that bad.
Man, I was really high on this game coming into this.
I hated the controls. I hated the pacing, mainly because of the stupid cat. In all reality, everything would have been fine if it wasn't for that damn cat.
Okay. That's fair.
It was because it was like, all right, I'm ready to finish this game. I'm going up to floor 15, and the fucking cat shows up again, and it's just in the last boss fight. It might go better for you because of if you figured out a control scheme that works for you, but
the boss fights are surprisingly tough.
They are. I would say that toward the end, the boss fights actually are pretty easy.
Oh, okay.
So your last few floors that you're going to go on, so like, what is that? So if you're like probably 12, 13, 14 are all pretty easy, I thought, at least comparatively. Because I kind of flew through those, and that's when...
the dinosaur one was especially like... tricky for me.
Oh, I
liked it.
So
it
I
was
think
just
that's
like,
the thing. Like, if you don't pick up on the concept of what it is really quick, you're gonna get really frustrated.
Yeah.
And that happened to me a few times. There was more times I felt like I had to go to a guide than I should have. I don't know about you.
I've only had 2 once so far, and it was like after looking at the guide, I was like, "Oh,
right."
Okay,
and I felt like maybe that was happening too much, but I was just getting really frustrated with it. I was also playing with my daughter too, so so she's just running around and like messing with everything, and I'm like, "Why are you?" We had coin wise, we had more coins than we could ever imagine to do with because she just wanted to collect every coin. She would be like, "Look, me, I got some money," and I'm like, "Really?" Like, it's like, okay, we don't need to collect any more money.
Well, you can use them to do the finders for the extra collectibles,
right? So
those don't really do
the
anything
collectibles don't do anything for you. So
they are kind of fun to try to hunt down, though.
They are.
I do like doing that.
Yeah. But man,
the thing that really sticks out to me the most about this game is they did an amazing job with, you have like 5 things you can do as Luigi.
You have strobe, you can vacuum, you can blow, you can blacklight and suction cup,
and then Luigi.
And Luigi
can do all those things.
The stuff with Luigi, the puzzles and everything else are great. Yeah, I think all that stuff works really good.
That's what I was going to say, is I think that just having that limited tool set and just having the puzzles all feel extremely unique and fun to do, that's a huge accomplishment.
I shouldn't say, I'm not going to like completely down on it. It's just that when I think of that game, the first thing that pops in my head is how just whacked out that flashlight was in the controls.
I think then if that's the case, it'll probably age better in your mind. That's generally what happens for me. Okay. Is if there's like 1 or 2 things annoying about a game, when I look back on it, I'm like, oh yeah, I really liked that game.
It's just that was the freshest thing in my head, was just like, oh my god, the right thumbstick was driving me nuts. The other thing, I guess, that I don't know why, but with Nintendo games anymore, why can't they just have voice actors?
Oh, I don't care about that. That doesn't
Like
that
it
doesn't
just,
bother me.
I don't know. Like it's,
I kind of actually like them not having voice actors because it is pretty funny when he does say actual words.
that's what I don't understand. It's like he'll say things and then it's like, oh, but then now he has to have subtitles and he talks blah 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 blah. Like I'm like, what? Like just
See, I like that because it's like whoa, 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 and then all of a sudden you'll get a I did it, which is hilarious.
I'm with Cable.
I find it really annoying. It was like, what? Like,
Or just like he'll just be like he'll go through a conversation and just be go like Luigi, like just just throw out a random
I guess
word every
I'm
now and
looking
then.
at it going, okay,
It's
these
charming.
games never go down in price. They're always $60. Would you just put an English translation in here of voice acting? Like, I don't know. Like I get it. Like King Boo should probably never talk. Like the boos, like they should be kind of weird and just go wah, like or whatever. Like even Waluigi can be whatever he
there was
is.
more Waluigi than it was Boo.
Yeah, I realized that after. Yeah,
If only Logan were in charge of Nintendo.
I hear there's a position open. Nope. Doug Bowser. Never
yeah,
mind.
Doug Bowser took
You
that
need
one.
to change your name to like Logan Mario. Or
I do.
something.
I
and
need to
then,
just
and then maybe
change
they'll
that.
hire you.
That's all I want. That's all I want. It's just,
Well, we brought you in today, Logan, but the problem is you can never trust anyone with two first names.
No.
So, thanks for coming. I appreciate you flying across the world to meet with us today.
For God's sakes, Mario's name is Mario.
It is not.
It is.
It is.
It is.
Fuck
And his-
off.
that's
Luigi's
the-
name is Luigi Mario.
I gotta go.
Okay, I was gonna say. I was like, do you need to leave? Do you think you're gonna be okay?
Everything about my life is now in question.
That's why they're the Mario brothers. That's their last name.
I'm just in case and you can ask me later.
Okay.
Like, are you okay? Just know, even though I say I'm fine, I'm not fine.
Okay.
I'm not okay.
Now the
I think
question
we
is,
just broke Jason's brain.
are Wario and Waluigi are they related?
Yes, they are brothers.
Okay, but are they Mario brothers?
No,
Or are they Wario brothers?
no,
Oh.
they are the Wah brothers.
Oh, that's right. They are the brothers Wah. So there's
So
Wario Wah.
I don't think that they're
Waluigi
I don't know
Wah.
if their last name is Wah. I don't think that's confirmed. But I don't think
They are
that
the
they
Wah
are
brothers.
yeah.
I do remember hearing that. Jason's face. He just can't do it anymore. And this is why I want voice acting. Just because this is nonsense.
No, because 100% disagree.
Okay. We can agree to disagree on that.
Do you think
That's
that
fine.
this was common knowledge when the movie came out in the 90s?
Bob Hoskins
Is
don't
rolling
bring him
over in his grave
I
right
know.
now at this news because he just now found it out. Somebody opened up. We exhumed Bob Hoskins. We've opened up the casket and we've let him know, and it was John Leguizamo that told him.
Oh man.
Who was Bowser in that movie? Who was it?
Oh, it was Dennis
Doug
Hopper.
Bowser.
Yes,
Yeah, Dennis
Yeah,
Hopper.
Dennis Hopper.
What a bad movie.
Yeah, man,
Real bad.
it happened though.
Yeah, I don't know if like I said, yeah, you're probably right. I'm gonna maybe look back on this a little fonder, but man, I just was annoyed at a couple of things. It was also
So I'm hearing 50-50 because I was thinking about trying this, but Logan's down on it. You're high on it.
I wouldn't say I'm down on it. Maybe if you mess with the control scheme thing.
I would be curious to hear because you might be the tiebreaker in that discussion later.
like I say,
I've not played the other ones. So.
You
either
don't
have
need
I.
to. You don't need to.
No, I don't think this is a continuity issue at all.
Got it.
But yeah, you should probably play it. It's
So Luigi's
10 hours long?
Luigi's Mansion is an anthology, more or less. is what
It's a
you're
Dark
telling me?
Pictures anthology.
No, they are sequels.
They are acknowledging the-
yeah.
Okay.
The canon is that he first went to this mansion, got a couple abilities, then went to this other. I don't remember. I think it was a castle in the second one.
It's called
I don't remember
Dark
now.
something.
And got a few more abilities, and now this is the third one where he gets even more abilities.
Luigi is the new ability.
I think Luigi was in 2.
Was it? Oh,
I
don't know.
think part of at least he was introduced. I don't know if you could actually control him or anything, but
Oh.
I think he was in.
What was
there.
the new ability then for this one? I thought this was Luigi.
I think the suction cup thing.
I thought the suction cup thing was already there.
I don't remember now.
It's
I'd have to go back and
it's
look.
a plunger. It's not a suction cup.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
he
it's
has a plumber.
Yeah, he's a plumber. That's
So
what it is.
he has to shoot a plunger out. Yeah, of course.
The plunger has a little rope on the end of it, so you can suck the plunger off of stuff. So
it's
like,
your
if there's
vacuum.
like something big in your path, you shoot it with plunger, suck it, and
It's super cute. That's for sure. The game is it's definitely what it is. The other thing is yeah, there was some of the stuff that was maybe above like a child's head on some of the things.
I can see it being very difficult.
Right, that's what I mean. Like, I shouldn't say above their head in like concept, but it was difficult. Some of the puzzles, that's for sure. Because there were some that I was like, boy, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know where to go next or what to do here. And some of it was literally just walking up to something and pressing X that I didn't realize you could press X on.
Classic Luigi Mario. You know.
Let's talk about something we've all played.
Well, before we do
Okay,
that,
fine.
let's just finish off, and then we should just end on that because we've all played it and we can all talk about it.
Oh yeah, that's probably a good idea.
So one more thing for me is I've been playing a bunch of Planet Zoo.
I don't know what this is. Tell me about Planet
Tell me
Zoo.
more.
Have you heard of Planet Coaster?
Yes.
This is the same developer, but instead of roller coasters, you're building a zoo.
Go on.
I really like it a lot.
Sounds awesome.
It's pretty buggy though. Still, I've run into some cases where just before you guys came over today, it kept telling me that one of my exhibits was dirty, and every time I sent a zookeeper over there to take care of it, they would go in the exhibit, turn around, and come immediately back out. I was like, clean stuff. That's what your job is.
Okay.
So I had
And
to
you're watching this happen.
Yeah. So I had to take down the gate that it used and put the gate in a different spot on the fence, and that fixed it because I think they were like blocked off by terrain on getting to the actual exhibit or something. I don't know what it was. There's also like I had one animal that died of thirst, even though there were plenty of water spots around for it to go get water from, but it decided it didn't want any. So
What kind of animal?
It was I don't know how to say it. It's Nyala. It's like an African deer type thing. Not Nyala.
An endangered species, Caleb.
I
Shame
don't
on
think
you.
they're endangered, but you do get
Now they are.
you do get if you raise an animal from baby to maturity, like if two of the animals you put in there have a baby and then you raise it up so it's an adult, you can either keep it in your exhibit, you can sell it for cash, or you can release it to the wild. And when you release it to the wild, you get conservation points, and you can redeem those conservation points for other stuff. So like to buy better quality animals and stuff like that, you can use that. So it's really cool. It's super flexible. There are a lot of options in there on how to do stuff. I'll say that the tutorial I don't think is very good. It's really long, and they have you repeat things, first of all. And secondly, they do a lot of it's a lot of very, very simple concepts and a lot of very complicated concepts, and they don't really go anywhere in the middle. So for instance, after the tutorial, I knew how to set up a work zone for the workers that they only go to certain exhibits and clean, which is kind of more advanced, but I didn't know more basic things like, oh, if there's trash in your park, that's because you need to put waste baskets in.
Yes.
Yeah. So they didn't teach me the basic stuff like that, but they did teach me more complicated stuff, which was a little weird for a tutorial. But once I got in there and started messing around and there is a story mode. So I'm doing the first scenario in the story mode right now. And I've been having a lot of fun with it. It melts hours away for me.
Would you say like this better or worse than Jurassic World Evolution?
As of right now, probably better.
Really? Because you were kind of high on Jurassic World.
Yeah.
That's why.
Jurassic World Jurassic World was a little frustrating because they're dinosaurs, so they want to get out of the pens, and they got out constantly, and you had to chase them down and put them back in. That does happen here. But it's harder for them to do. For instance, I have grizzly bears right now, and they do occasionally get out, but it's not all the time. And the only reason they do get out is because I'm stupid and I put up the wrong kind of fence, so they can climb the fence.
Oh, good.
Yeah, if I put in a non-climbable wall, then they wouldn't do that. No, well, they haven't yet. I don't know if they can, but they haven't yet.
Aw.
I've gotten to them first.
Like a child needs to fall into like the tiger pit at some point because you didn't put up the proper fence, and like Harambe needs put down and everything else. Like these things need to happen. Like
Yeah, right now I have the Nyalas, or however you say it. I have grizzly bears. I have crocodiles. I just put in tortoises. I have bison and boa constrictors. Those are the exhibits that I have in my zoo right now.
Did you hear the other day they found someone dead because her 40-foot python choked her to death?
this is why snakes shouldn't exist.
This is going to be you.
I hate snakes.
It's going
to come out of your computer.
I have like a boa constrictor breeding ground. They breed constantly.
That's what I'm saying.
And if there's more than 2 in the exhibit, then they don't like it because there's not enough room for them to go. So I am constantly shipping out boa constrictors into the wild.
Get out here.
Into the wild?
Yeah, because I want those conservation points, dude.
Okay, you shouldn't. Oh
It's not
my
your
god!
freaking backyard, Logan.
How do you know?
Well, I don't actually. I don't know what kind
My
of
zoo is in
nefarious-
Africa. I think it's in Africa.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. It's in Canada right now.
I mean, you're not
The
that
ones-
far from
yeah.
my house.
Did
Here,
you bless the rain down in Africa? Or?
I don't think I'm releasing boas into Canada. I don't think boa constrictors would do well there.
I don't know.
But they'll probably take them to some rainforest or something.
I hate snakes.
Choking out Terrence and Phillip.
That was one part of Luigi's Mansion that the snakes. Have you come across the snakes yet?
No.
Oh god. Yeah,
I'm in the boiler room.
you're in the
if
boiler
that
room.
tells you anything.
Oh yeah, there's a pyramid level. That was one good thing. We're just slightly back to Luigi's Mansion. Is each level is themed? So like every floor like that you're going through in the mansion has like a new theme to it.
Yeah,
So it's like
that's
you're kind of like, oh, what are we going to come across this time? Oh, this is like the movie level, and oh, here's the I'm trying to think.
That
of-
level was cool.
The
That
movie
level was
level
awesome.
The movie level was really cool because it was like Poltergeist. You had to go into the TV, and like there was a movie set, and you had to like put Luigi on the movie set and have him do stuff.
That sounds awesome.
And you have to
It
like
was-
take stuff back and forth between sets. So like there's one set where there's fire and you can't get around the fire. So you have to go to the other movie set,
Get a
the
torch.
bucket, fill it with water,
Oh yeah.
go back over, like stuff like that. It's really cool. Really cool. That was a really good level.
That was
I was thinking, what else is coming out on Switch this year? Is that the last big one?
Pokemon.
Pokemon. I was thinking that's the one left this year that I don't know.
Yeah.
You guys seem like there's some pretty cool things going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should probably borrow my Switch and play that, and
At least play a few of the floors.
Luigi's
just to see what
Mansion,
it's about.
and you could probably go through Goose Game in a couple hours.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be something that you should probably go
Oh
through.
yeah, you should absolutely do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, here at some point we'll get you the Switch.
So that's Planet Zoo.
That's
Caleb,
Planet Zoo.
Any other? I
I think the last thing on my list is the thing that we've all been playing.
No.
No?
There's 2 things left. You're missing one.
What
We
am I
can do the
missing?
Outer Worlds, but then we'll do the mystery game that you don't remember.
What don't I remember?
Call of Duty?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't write that down apparently.
which one do you want to do first?
Let's do the Outer Worlds first and finish on Call of Duty. So let's just go around how many hours in. I'm about 10 hours in.
I finished the campaign and then I took it back.
Oh,
Are we talking about
what?
Call of Duty or are we talking about the Outer Worlds?
Oh, we're talking
about the Outer Worlds.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
sorry,
bad. I thought you were
yeah.
talking about Call of Duty.
I was like
how are you 10 hours in?
going really slow. And I'm like, what do you mean? And I'm looking at you like, you took it back. It's on Game Pass.
Okay.
Okay, Outer Worlds.
Outer
Turn
Worlds.
is Game Pass.
I'm probably about 5 or 6 hours in. I'm not super far.
Okay.
I've been in this weird thing where like I've only been playing games on weekends. Like when I get home from work, I don't want to play games for whatever reason. So
Other than Zoo Tycoon.
well, yeah.
But that's not a game. That's a lifestyle.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a lot.
Planet Zoo.
And
Planet Zoo landed on Caleb. Caleb didn't land
Yeah.
on Planet Zoo.
and DOA Extreme Beach Volleyball 3, whatever it is.
Extreme Venus Vacation.
Sorry.
God, Logan, seriously, get it right.
I know. It's my favorite game.
If we're gonna call it Game of the Year, you at least need to know what the name of it is.
I know. Jason, have you played it at all?
Yes.
Okay.
An hour.
Oh, so not
15 minutes.
So you've kind of just gotten started on it then?
Yeah. I am negotiating with the guy who I can't remember his name. I'm doing the side quests to get him to leave.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
I can't remember. Forgive me. I can't remember the name of his town. I chose to divert power to back to him, and so I pissed off the woman who
Edgewater
was putting
Edgewater's the town. I don't remember the guy's name, but
so the out of town the woman was composting corpses and growing trees out of those. I diverted power to Edgewater. What did you guys do there?
Go ahead.
Same. I went to Edgewater.
You?
I diverted power back to Edgewater, but then but there's something that happens after that. Then you've probably done it at this point if you've been 5 hours in.
I just want to say, because we're talking about this, that this was a very unique moment for me in games, because I thought I wanted to divert it to the rebels or the lady growing the corpse crops or whatever.
Yeah.
Corpse trees.
Yep. So I went into the place where you make the decision. I was like, all right, I'm going to do that. And then the NPC kind of stops you there. The NPC companion, that happened for you too.
Yeah, Parvati.
Yeah, Parvati stops you and she's like, well, hang on. This is what's going to happen if you do this, because I think I know what you're going to do. And I was like, you know what? You make a really good point. Maybe I should do that. But no. I'm still gonna divert to these guys.
I did the same thing too.
So to the rebels.
Yeah. Oh, so you did it to the rebels?
So I did it to the rebels.
Okay.
And then as it's like, I didn't even leave the room yet, and I looked at Parvati and I was like, I totally did the exact opposite thing, and now you're gonna be super mad at me. I'm gonna reload my save.
Oh no. So what happened? What happened was she super mad at you?
Nope. Nothing actually happened.
But you don't know what would have happened, I guess, because you didn't go any farther.
Exactly. This is the first time in any of the Fallout, Elder Scrolls, whatever games, where I've actually agonized over making a decision on something, because that's a tough decision.
It is.
There are bad things that are going to happen to people no matter which way you go there, and in the end, it like the thing that made my decision was like, you know what, this girl has been on this planet for a long time. She kind of knows the lay of the land. I'm going to take her advice on this. That's never happened in these games before. There's always, especially in Fallout, it seems like there's always like this is the good choice and this is the evil choice. And even things like Mass Effect, it literally is Renegade Paragon. Here are your two choices. And this game is not that. And I think that's really cool that you have that huge gray area in between, and you have to decide which people deserve to live a good life over the others, and just live with the compromise. It's really unique.
I hadn't thought about that before. I didn't play Fallout 4. I played Fallout 3. And I do not otherwise play Bethesda RPGs. So you have a perspective, Caleb, like a historical perspective of Bethesda RPGs when it comes to this, and you don't really play those games.
I've never played a Fallout game or any of the Bethesda RPGs, so this is all new territory for me. The only thing it reminded me of a little bit was Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Sure.
There's some Mass Effect in there.
Yeah, it's good.
Which I played about 5 or 6 hours of Mass Effect, and I didn't really care for it. And I know the reason why now that I didn't care for it is because I don't like narrative trees.
Okay.
As I'm going through this game, I'm just like, I want to click through that stuff so fast. And
I mean, that's kind of the game.
That's kind of the game, but sometimes I feel like there's too much filler. So I'm trying to find the stuff that's worthwhile. I mean, I'm reading through everything, but some of the stuff I'm just kind of like.
I think that is because you don't play those games.
Yeah.
That is the standard. Yeah. It's very standard.
It is, yeah. And I think it's just some of the dialogue I find worthwhile, some of it I don't. It just depends on the character I'm coming across. I'm at a point now where I'm enjoying it. I think at the beginning I didn't as much, but I'm at least finding that I found a better rhythm with it of the stuff that I feel like, okay, here's the stuff I really want to know. And then as I can read, I can kind of tell by what they are, if it's just going to be like, all right, this is just a bunch of filler background stuff, or this is what's really important. So that's kind of where I'm at with it, or at least something that I'll find entertaining.
I think this game then if you feel that way about this game, then absolutely do not go play any of the older Bethesda games, because this game does that kind of stuff way better than them. Everything in this game, I haven't really come across anything where I've been like, well, that just seemed like a useless conversation. Like, all the characters are interesting. There's a lot of cool story stuff in there. I haven't seen, you said filler, and to me, like, maybe it's just because I'm comparing it to those older games, but I haven't seen much filler at all.
Oh, wait. It's coming.
Okay.
The next, well, you're probably on the next area.
I'm in the second area.
Okay.
Now.
I forget what that town is called.
It's not a
still
town.
the same
It's like
planet.
on a ship.
You're on a ship, but have you gone back to the other planet?
No.
Oh, okay. So I've gone back to that planet, and I'm over to another planet now. So I'm pretty far.
Okay.
But it's like I said, I think I've found the right rhythm that I like now. I like the game. I really do. I think that's for me. I'm trying to find ways to progress, because I guess I'm just not patient, probably more than anything. Which goes back to why I want my Nintendo characters talking to me.
You just hate reading.
I don't. Yeah, I think there is. Yeah, I don't like to read. I really don't. I think it's like this foreign language films. I'm just like, I can't do this. Like I'm an auditory learner. This is what you would call it, I guess. That's the.
Well, and this is something that I've been thinking about this year too. Is there are people that value. And we've said it on this podcast before too. There are people that value games that respect their time.
Yes.
And like there are different scales of that. I think you guys are on a different scale from me as far as quote unquote respecting time. Yeah. Because I can't afford to
just
like
where we're at in our lives. Yeah.
But you want to experience this game so that you can see the next one and not feel left out on that too. So it's like, I understand that you just want to move through a game and you don't really want to get like engrossed into it. So like I was just talking about Planet Zoo, I would never recommend Planet Zoo to you.
No, I would never do a Planet Zoo game.
You would hate that.
If it was, like there's a lot of systems in Planet Zoo, it looks like, just from what I've seen. Like, you go the Sim City level, that's about the level, when I'm talking Sim City, I'm talking Sim City 2000.
Yeah.
That's about the level of systems that, and on a mobile device, I could probably get into at this point. Why haven't they done that? Give me a Sim City on a mobile, like Sim City 2000 on mobile.
So anyway,
I could do that.
Outer Worlds.
Sorry. Outer Worlds, yeah. I feel like I can't really talk much about what happens.
Yeah, I'm gonna play a lot more of that for sure.
I am too. That's for sure. It's grabbed me, even though there's parts of it I don't like. But I'm definitely into the story. I'm into the gameplay. I like the world.
Yeah.
It's very.
It's funny too.
It's very funny. That's for sure. And that's one of the things where I'm looking in the dialogue trees and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, this could be entertaining. So I'll at least look at that. At first I was slightly turned off by that part of it. The combat was really hard to start with too. I don't know if that was for you guys at all.
I haven't had any problems yet.
Like, I felt like it was hard to start with, but now I've gotten a good way around it, what guns I like, how I'm getting that ammo and everything else, because I felt like I was running really low on ammo really fast. And but
Jason,
now,
are you sticking with it, or are you on the other side?
Probably not.
Okay.
You're not going to stick with it?
Yeah. I'd rather play other stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think that I'm having I guess I'm trying to, what would you call Fallout a Western RPG?
yeah, absolutely. Yep.
And so Persona is the most recent JRPG we've all played, and we all fucking love Persona.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to but Final Fantasy and Persona are still different styles of RPG.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to limit this to like Western RPG and JRPG, but I just want to try to articulate myself as best as I can. I think that there's a certain standard that Persona and Final Fantasy and The Witcher hit, and I think there might be no going back for me.
Do you mean in terms of gameplay or in writing?
Just
or in
overall polish.
See, I think this game's got a lot of polish to it. That's what I'm surprised.
Surprises me.
Yeah, I think maybe you're just too early.
You guys think it looks very good?
No, I wouldn't say that it's like the most beautiful game, but I think content-wise, there's a lot of good stuff in there from a story standpoint and from how everything works. It may not look the best. I think that's definitely probably its biggest downfall is just the way it looks, but I think it also kind of reminds me more of they're going for a very like BioShock meets Fallout style, because when you put those two together.
How else would you describe that, Caleb? Because that's really what I see too, and I'm trying to be fair about like. We're talking more. I'm not talking about design necessarily versus just visual fidelity, because I don't think the visual fidelity is that great.
Yeah, that's where I'm saying it's lacking.
The design, the overall. There's a word for it, the art direction. That's what I'm looking for. I mean, like its influencers are BioShock and Fallout, right?
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of that already. So it's not really. I mean, Fallout's been doing that for a long time, and I think BioShock came around and really refined that. And so I've seen that art before, and it doesn't mean that it's not good. I really respect it, and it looks good, but I have seen that plenty.
I need to see this on console, I guess, because I've been playing it on PC, and I have none of those complaints.
Really?
I think it looks really good
as far as fidelity.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're both playing on an X on a 4K HDR TV. So
maybe they really downgraded the console version for some reason, but
I think I wouldn't say it's. I think it's an art direction thing versus a true hey, the graphics just aren't there. I think it's the style of which they did that. I think it's at a different level of fidelity.
You know what, too? As you're saying this, I'm kind of realizing that the other games that we've talked about, especially like Control and Call of Duty, just they blow everything out of the water.
Maybe that's
maybe it gets lost in that sea.
The look of people in this game is not even close to what it is for a Call of Duty and a Control.
We haven't talked about Blair Witch, but that's really what was jarring for me with Blair Witch, because I just played Control, and you know what? I went from Call of Duty to Outer Worlds. And so maybe that's part of it. Yeah, that could very much be it.
The art direction thing is valid. I mean, I don't mind that art direction style.
That's not even a real complaint. I've just seen a lot of it. Yeah. So I've been just a little oversaturated there.
Yeah.
But that's not a valid complaint against the game.
The thing I would say that it does better than those, that it improves on for that art style, is it's way more colorful, more vibrant than everything else.
Absolutely.
But I will say, the faces in that game are very early this generation, late last generation from a fidelity standpoint.
For me, I agree with that. Do you agree with that or no?
Character models,
not on my screen, but maybe the console version is different. I don't know.
Okay.
I guess that's what I'm thinking. But when you compare it to Control and Call of Duty, that's where they're at.
The other thing is, and this is something that I did notice, is that there's no pretty characters in that game.
No.
Nobody's attractive. Nobody's attractive. So maybe that is part of it too, where just people don't look very good. I don't know.
I just think the way that the story directions go, there's a lot of fetch missions and stuff like that, but they all have their weird quirky purposes. Is kind of what I like about it, is that it's
nothing feels throwaway. You're not getting
some of the side
we need
missions
you to kill 5 bears and report back with their skin. You don't get that kind of stuff. It's everything is way more interesting than that.
Right? Yeah,
at least so far.
Do you want me to just tell you the one I'm on now?
Sure.
Okay, so the thing I'm on now is you got to go to this other planet to get this girl to help you find something. And you talk to her and everything else, but she is a massive drunk. She is the town drunk. And in order to get her to help you, you've got to get her out of this drunk state. And there's this medication that Spacer's Choice makes, which is the evil corporation or whatever. And they have sparingly handed it out like it's this caffeine thing or whatever that can snap people out of being drunk and everything else real fast. And so you now have the option of whether you want to steal it or whether you want to procure it in a proper way. So that is one of the things. So again, another option out there for you about how you want to obtain this so that you can get her to take you to, she's going to escort you to this place that's got the next item or thing that you need to get. But it's just one of those like, and she's entertaining as all get out, but then you go and talk to the doctor who's going to give you this stuff, and she's got her own weird quirks too. So it's these personalities behind everybody that's what's keeping the game moving for me, is that. And I think, yeah, and then figuring out, what is the stuff I need to talk to them about and what do I not need to talk to them about. But that's where I'm at with it. And like, I feel like that's an entertaining, like it's entertaining for me, and it moves it along in enough way where it's like, okay, conversation, combat, conversation. Like it's going in a good rhythm for me. I feel like it's where, at least where how the game flows and how it moves. And the weird person on the spaceship is hilarious. Your AI, the AI on the spaceship, she's really funny.
Well, right before I stopped, she was. I talked to her as like the last thing I did, and she was like, "If you come back and I'm sleeping, please don't wake me." Like, you're an AI.
She like her just random facial expressions. Like that's all she is just this thing with a facial expression. I was like, yep, all right, this is dumb. Like I like where this is at, of just the stupidity of it all. But so I guess if you end up with some time, maybe give it a couple hours, a couple more hours. No, okay.
If you're not into that genre, you're not. This isn't going to change your mind.
I think that's what it is. Yeah. I think that I've played enough of this kind of loop before that I'm just not interested in the fetch quest stuff. At this point, I think that for me, an RPG has to be pretty special for me to engage with it at this point.
If it was something that it was going to be 40 hours, I probably wouldn't be engaging with it. But from what it sounds like, I can probably do this in 20 to 25.
Yeah.
And that seems much more manageable to me, especially when I'm 10 hours in already.
Yeah, you're almost there, right?
Like, I feel like I'm halfway there.
I have a gut check moment. Like, I think it was a few days ago where I had to make a decision. Like, am I going to play the Outer Worlds knowing that I think it's fine, or do I want to play more Mortal Kombat? And I really just want to play more Mortal Kombat.
That's fair.
Like, it's what I want to do. And I'm not going to make myself play the Outer Worlds. And I was thinking about this too. Like, if it were that or finish the Witcher DLC, like, it's the Witcher DLC a mile ahead if I was going to spend my time with an RPG.
Yeah.
So factoring in all those things, I think I'm done with it. I would rather play other stuff.
Good thing there's other stuff, such as
Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
I'm like nailing it on this.
Yeah, segue.
Wow,
he's on
coming
a segue
for your job, Logan.
Hey, I take it. I don't care.
Okay, we're starting over. This is the master.
Wipe it. Get rid of it.
All right.
Strike it.
Well,
Start
it's
over.
our third start over for the day. So, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I really don't know how to classify this now that there's a second Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019.
No, there was Call of Duty 4, and then there's Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Oh, that's right. Call of Duty 4 was Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
This is Modern Warfare.
You're right.
Oh, yeah. I didn't forgot about that. This game's real good. I like it a lot. Campaign. I even like the multiplayer, and I don't like Call of Duty multiplayer.
I haven't played any of the multiplayer. I thought the campaign was good. I think it's one of the probably like in the top third of the Call of Duty campaigns.
Probably, yeah.
For me,
looks great.
It looks incredible. So I usually lose the thread of the story at some point in Call of Duty. This one I lost immediately. I had no idea what was going on in that entire game.
I felt like I got a good grasp on what was going on with Farah and why she had her own rebel group and everything else, and kind of how they all ended up together. And I forget the names of everybody. Who's the other guy? Not with Price, the guy who started he had the blonde spiky hair.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
Looked real good in the FMVs. Like, it was everybody did. Yeah, but he was super cute with his blonde spiky hair. Yeah, that game, I mean, it met the goals of like making really nice set pieces. Piccadilly Square, that just looked, from with the rain and the lights and everything else, that was a nice looking set piece. I mean, it was something different than the typical blown out Warzone stuff.
Right.
It still has its fair share of, but they did a good job of mixing up the environments.
I like that. Yeah, it was like everything seemed like it was like 20 to 25 minute bursts. Like it was like, all right, you're going to play for 20, 25 minutes. Boom. Like you're on to the next thing. And some of them were even shorter than that. The game, it does what Call of Duty does, where it goes for a little bit of shock and awe of a couple things, where it's like, wants to be like, oh yeah, we, look at this thing we did. Some people don't like that stuff. I think it's perfectly fine. I, enjoy those moments. I mean, you think about the Farrah sequence, when she's younger.
For me, that didn't really hit because I had no stakes in it, because I didn't know what was going on at that point. So I'm like, I'm just going to get through this level so I can get back to shooting people.
Well, I mean, they always get shit for the press F for respects thing. What was it? The airport sequence and stuff.
That was in Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah. I mean, there was the Farrah sequence there, and then there was the other where you got the option whether you wanted to go in the room or not. So those were a little bit of those sequences.
There's more too. I mean, there's quite a bit.
Those were the two that just stuck out in my head, of more of the like, hey, that like some people might be disturbed by this versus.
I don't want to go too far here the other way, but and we're not having a debate about this, which is good because it keeps me controlled. But I've seen quite a few cynical comments around some of that stuff, and I honestly think it's the best that this franchise has handled that stuff.
I completely agree.
And people need to just chill out.
Yes.
Because they've handled it really in a ham-fisted nature before. And I think that there's some subtlety to this one and some nuance. And there is some genuine, like, who's the monster going on there that actually works. I watch a lot of TV drama, good and bad. And there's stuff in this game that works. And some people just refuse to acknowledge accomplishment there, and it really irks me.
I completely agree with you.
The biggest thing for me in regards to that is that in the games before, when there's like sequences like this, at the beginning of the campaign, there's always a box that pops up. Do you want to see the explicit scene or not? This one didn't do that.
There was a warning.
Oh yeah, it's
not a yes or no, and they do that in gameplay form, which I think is really cool. Like you can be in the room or you can not be in the room.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's an accomplishment.
I think so too. But yeah, I mean, just like you said, there's TV out there that's doing 10 times worse of handling some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And just because it's TV, it doesn't, it's TV versus a game. It doesn't get shit for it. But, the people who just want to criticize everything just to criticize everything.
I do understand the criticism about the Highway of Death. I think it's Highway of Death. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's right.
Is that from this game?
Yeah. Because that is a little strange. I don't think it's on purpose that they did what they did. So basically, the level where you're the sniper, that is based on a real thing that happened. And basically the reason that I'm not a history buff, so forgive me for some of the details here. But the reason that a lot of people were coming through that area was because there was another section of that highway, that was bombed, and completely destroyed, and it killed a lot of innocent people as well. And I guess the U.S. is mostly responsible for that. The president, Bush at the time, got a lot of flack for doing that. And in this game, at one point, it's just a radio conversation, and they say, well, if the Russians wouldn't have bombed that section of road, then we wouldn't have to be there. So it's like, well, you didn't get your facts correct, and now it kind of sounds like you're trying to say that the Russians did something that we did, which is a little weird. So I understand that criticism. I don't think they did that. I think that was just an accident that
yeah,
happened
I wonder.
that way.
Yeah, I wonder how much of this is, you know, and I'm not 100% sure either, is just coincidence.
Yeah,
versus because this isn't set in that time period either.
Right,
This is like its own separate event.
It's literally, the level is literally called Highway of Death, and that's exactly what the situation was called. So it's just a little like, yeah, maybe they should have been a little more careful with the way they named things and threw that stuff around. But other than that, I think you're right that this game's got a lot of undue criticism.
Yeah,
I think there's some genuine self-examination with this one too. Like, like, is there something wrong with you? Because you sure do like killing people. Is there something wrong with you? Like, you realize the harm you're doing here, right? Like,
yeah.
And the game makes you confront that. And I think that there's for the first time, and maybe it's because I'm getting older, but for the first time I was like, this feels like this is actually saying something, and it's not handling it poorly. That's all I'm trying to convey. And I also think that the subtleties aren't just within the way that the characters are talking to one another or the decisions you're making, but also the highs and lows of the campaign. Because you're in a really dense firefight 1 second with those big blown out war zones like you're talking about, then all of a sudden you're in a really tight corridor.
Yeah, you're in a house.
It's pitch black. It's quiet. And everyone knows what's going on in this space, and the stakes are incredibly high.
Yep.
And I don't know of an FPS that's ever done that has really quieted down for a second and had you kind of observe, like, I'm boxed in here. I have nowhere to go. How are we going to handle this situation?
I think the closest thing to that would be Spec Ops.
Spec Ops The Line.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever played that or not.
Yeah.
But
And I think, that game, underappreciated.
Right.
Yeah.
The game makes you think.
Gosh, that was 10 years
That'd be
ago
the
now.
best comparison, I think.
Long time ago.
Yeah. I think but kind of in what you're saying though with this game, I think because Call of Duty's reputation and Activision's reputation,
And it's earned.
And it's kind of one of those, like, if Michael Bay all of a sudden wanted to do a serious movie.
Yeah, if Michael Bay wanted to do a serious movie and he succeeded at it, he'd
still get shit.
Crap. Yeah,
he'd still get shit for it. So
if Adam Sandler can do it this holiday season.
Yeah, but even that movie's still got quirky enough. He's playing this eccentric character, like that's what I mean. But like, if Michael Bay all of a sudden did a serious movie, like, people would be like, just shit all over it because it's just another Michael Bay explosion movie. Like,
there's plenty of that. I think I think it's a pretty elegant approach to it, which these games have come out in mass a lot, and I don't think I've enjoyed one like this since the original 4, Modern Warfare 4. That's really where I started playing those games a lot. Once again, 4 came along and it changed everything. It changed multiplayer gaming as we know it today. Its imprint is still on multiplayer shooters today.
Still changes up things every time too. So,
the way that achievements were handled in that game is just, it set the standard, and I don't think they've quite met it since. But I think this one is pretty close, and a lot of that comes from like a little bit of fan service, because who doesn't love Price? Price is great, but
no ghillie suits though. I was kind of disappointed in that.
Yeah, you can't and they mention soap at the end, right? There's some fan service stuff there that's pretty good.
Oh, so I wanted to ask you guys, because you played on Xbox, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so at the end of the campaign, did it say that the story continues, or would you just get an end?
We got a Spec Ops.
Okay, it still did that in the
Spec
Xbox
Ops,
version,
yeah.
even though
Yes.
Spec Ops is not in the Xbox
Yes.
version?
Yeah.
Okay, I was just curious about that.
Yes.
Yeah, we still got that.
Yes.
Don't be concerned about that because it is not.
Well, and I heard it was broken.
Face lie that that story continues in Spec Ops. But I was just wondering if the Xbox version had that in there or not.
It did. There was like a cutscene at the end where they were in the desert talking, and it was like, and some I can't remember what all happened now, but yeah, it was just like, oh yeah, the story continues in Spec Ops. But did you, Jason? Did you play any multiplayer?
No, I didn't.
I played I played a couple nights of it because but Ground War is really good. It's like a big, like I want to say 16 on 16, something like that. But I think there was only a couple maps, but you could actually get in vehicles. You could get in a helicopter. You could get in an APC. You could spawn kind of anywhere, but you had 5 control points that you were trying to get and defend. It was chaotic. And it was a lot of fun because it was chaotic. The only problem with it was, I would say, it was a little longer. It was about 20 minutes a match or so. So it was a longer match. Yeah. So I could have used them down to maybe 10 to 12 minutes, but that was probably the other part of it.
That's their typical TDM length.
Yeah. And I am terrible at Call of Duty multiplayer. I'm just, I'm just not good at it for whatever reason.
You haven't really played them though, right?
No, I never really did.
Not a surprise then.
Yeah, and I'm not, and I'm an average FPS shooter multiplayer guy anyway. I'm not like outstanding by any means, but at Call of Duty, I'm going like 6 and 15. That's kind of where I'm at.
Better than I would do.
There's also a realism one, which realism mode is there's no HUD. So
it's the hardest difficulty as well, right? I guess if you're playing multiplayer, it doesn't matter.
It's multiplayer, yeah. So,
but it's both, right? Campaign has veteran now, and then realism.
Yeah.
But yeah, realism. Yeah, and it's 1 to 2 shots, you're down, and no map, it looks really nice because you have no HUD.
Yeah.
Like, so all of that stuff. The two times I played, both times I got put on Piccadilly Square. So it's a tight map. You're one on everybody, and it's tight. It's like, so you're just in there, like just kind of looking around. You're moving real slow. You're not really sure what's going to happen next. Next thing you know, you just get popped from behind. Like you try to find a good spot to hide. And I actually felt like I did pretty good at that one. I think I went even both times, but I was just like, man, like this was actually fun. Like this was pretty good. But I think I probably played like 4 or 5 matches of Ground War. I played one team deathmatch and just got destroyed.
Where the killers go.
Right. So that's why I was like, I'm going to do these new ones and check these out. I wouldn't even mind like if it was something like where, Christmas break rolls around and like I just take a day and maybe play that again. Like that's how much I actually enjoyed having fun with it.
Awesome.
So, but yeah, it's good. That'd be something maybe worth checking out.
One other thing to mention is the way that they handle mounting. Have you guys ever played anything like that?
No.
They handle what?
The left stick mounting thing.
It's a really like novel way to handle that. Yeah. And forgive me if there's a game that's done this before, but the way that it's a peek out and then you mount your weapon.
It's a way for it to be a cover shooter.
You swivel around that weapon. That's fucking awesome.
And the thing was, did you see the AI doing it too?
No.
I saw a couple times there was a guy like peeking around the corner with his guns. It was like somebody else was doing it too. Like it was, so I was like, oh, like this, they're not just, stupid and just standing back behind the things. Like they're actually using the same process. Like it was, so I kind of got a kick out of that.
I was amazed by that. Because you literally like the point of access, you create the point of access, then your camera attaches to it and it swivels on that access. I've never seen anything like that.
And it never felt like you could over-rotate either. Like it
would take you off the wall.
Right. If you over-rotated, you came off the wall. I really like that part of it too. It prompted you appropriately too. It would be like, they have like a little gray L stick pop up and it would say mount.
I never used that.
You're on the side of the wall. And then you're peeking out, or if you're if you're tipping up, then you mount your weapon, and then your camera goes.
And it was
and it swivels down sights.
And you could stabilize your gun that way.
Dude. I was really impressed by that.
It was a really nice mechanic that they added in. I don't remember seeing that in anything before.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm trying to decide. Yeah, was this campaign better than? I don't know if it was better than Infinite.
Not for me.
Not for you.
Close.
What do you think, Jason? We're also in the weird minority that we are the only ones who liked Infinite Warfare.
No, I don't think that's true. I think Infinite Warfare gets a lot of flack for the multiplayer stuff.
Oh, okay.
And I think most people play Call of Duty for the multiplayer. So
true.
I think that's why everyone hates Infinite. But the campaign was incredible in that game.
Yeah, where does it rank campaign-wise for you? It's been so long since I played like Modern Warfare 1 and Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops and stuff. I'm trying to like...
it's hard to compare them too because like you said, some of those mechanics and stuff aren't in the old game. So how do you compare an old game to a new game?
And then like what's recency bias versus nostalgia? Even kind of too.
I think if you made me rank them, I would say 4.
So Modern Warfare 1.
Yeah, Infinite. This barely though. I'm hotter on it than you are for sure, but not by much. And it's hard to forget like Mile High Club. That was unbelievable. Like,
is that part of the campaign?
It was it was the post credits.
Post credits
thing where you're on Air Force One and you save your life. Dude, that is just, it's like people were just, the buzz around that post credit mission alone was like, did you do it?
Running up.
Were you able to do it?
Yeah.
What difficulty did you do it on?
Yeah.
And it's just, yeah.
Yeah. I remember there was like, you were going up to the White House and was it was 4, right? Or you were going
2.
up. That's 2?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, because 2 is where the attack came to
the U.S.
2 as in just 2 or
Modern Warfare 2.
Modern Warfare 2.
Call of Duty 2 is a World War II shooter.
I thought that was 3.
No, 2.
I think Call of Duty 1 and
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3 were all
right, because that would be why it's called Modern Warfare.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I have rosy views of 4, but also that was a different time, and I was playing all the Call of Duties on Veteran, and I was getting a lot out of it as far as just gameplay wise.
You were never really playing multiplayer either.
No, I was just I really wanted to. I was achievement hunting in the campaign, but I was also just like, I can do this. I can persevere through.
There were collectibles back then.
Yeah, stuff like that. But it was really those games become something else when you play them on Veteran, and I'm not at the point in my life where I could do that. But for those that really enjoy it and enjoy sinking time into the campaign of those games,
and now you have an extra layer with realism as well.
That's and I bet for those dedicated like campaign players out there, I'm sure they're thrilled about that.
Yeah,
yeah, it's a really good game. So
I'm surprised.
I was too. Yeah,
pleasantly.
I thought it was going to be a very average game and kind of fall, just be like, whatever.
Another pretty looking Call of Duty because we've had
right.
like 10 of these in the past year. So, and I bet the story's awkward and they don't handle things well. So I just was surprised.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Anybody have anything else other than Death Stranding's tomorrow? We've got 2, so that's coming out tomorrow. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and Pokemon Sword and Shield is the last games of the year, right?
Are those the big releases? Are you playing something smaller?
There's probably something else coming out, but
I'm just going to play a ton of Planet Zoo.
Yeah. Yeah, Doom is
just a
next year.
Bleep ton of Planet Zoo.
Need for Speed Heat.
Is Planet Zoo your Mortal Kombat, Caleb? I wonder. We'll see.
Maybe we'll
see.
We'll find out. I played way too much Zoo Tycoon, and that game wasn't that good.
Oh,
so
okay. Well,
I the thing is I can literally see Zoo Tycoon over Jason's shoulder right now, and I've been staring at it this entire time. Like I just because it's in big letters, Zoo. Like
that was a launch game.
That was that and Rise Son of Rome.
Oh yeah, that game was okay. I guess
it was fine.
Yeah, I guess.
Don't make me cape up for Rise right now.
The only
fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
It's fine.
Need for Speed Heat. Which maybe it'll be bad. It'll probably be bad.
It'll probably be bad. I didn't even know that was coming out. I didn't even know
apparently it's out on the EA Access thing.
I didn't even know it was coming out.
You could be
year.
playing it right now if you were subscribed to that.
Oh.
And then the only other thing is the last episode of Life is Strange 2.
Oh yeah.
Which I'll finish just for the sake of finishing it.
I feel like I owe it to Life is Strange to finish, but that might be an early January game for me.
There's some other stuff I wanted to hit that I missed this year, but Steins Gate, Outer Wilds, Judgment.
Oh yeah, Outer Wilds might be a blind spot for all of us.
Meta Wolf Chaos, Remnant, Catherine Full Body, and Disco Elysium.
I'm surprised you didn't try Judgment.
For whatever, I think it was just that it came out at the wrong time.
Have you played the other Yakuza games?
I can't ever really get into the Yakuza games because the story is so dense. Like, if you try to
They're long, right?
They're very long. So if you try to just like go into the middle of that series without knowing the story, you're probably going to get lost.
Because this is not a Yakuza game, but it's in the Yakuza universe.
No, it is as far as I know, it's the same area and setting as Yakuza, but a different universe. So they reused the
assets,
the map or whatever. It's a different universe, and it has the same type of gameplay, but a completely different story. I think.
So, well, who knew?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I want to hit. We'll see if I do hit it before we talk at the end of the year. But
yeah. So yeah, we'll decide whether we're going to have another podcast, I guess, before Game of the Year. It depends on how much we want to talk about Death Stranding, probably more than anything.
Yeah,
we'll see how that goes.
Star Wars.
We're all gonna play that. Death Stranding. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You got to see it.
Yeah. I think it's
you got to see it for yourself.
Mm-hmm. And I have a feeling we'll probably all have different opinions on it.
Maybe.
Who knows?
There'll probably be one of us that loves it, one of us that hates it, and one of us that just is like, I'm gonna slog through this.
Did you want to bring up the idea that you were tossing around? We were tossing around the other day.
Oh yeah, I don't know where we landed on that. So as maybe early next year, into next year, before the new consoles launch, I suggested that we do a game of the generation deliberation.
I was going to say we do a game of the decade, which includes.
So my idea was actually, I don't mean PS4 or Xbox One. I mean 360 and PS3.
Oh, yeah. So you want to do a 360 PS3.
Before we get too far away from those. But Caleb has a valid concern with that.
Actually, I do have a valid concern that it's with the games that are that old, I don't know how much we're going to remember to actually explain our thoughts on.
Like a 2007 game.
It might just be a really boring conversation if we're just like, oh yeah, I liked that game. That was a really good, like we just had with Rise. Like we all remember playing and
talk
kind
about
of liking
Rise if you really want me to.
What happened in Rise? Name one thing that happened in Rise.
He was the son of Rome and
he is risen.
And that was this generation. So like going even further back is going to be...
Okay, but that game was also not going to be, it's not going to be worthy of talking about.
But that's just an example, like I don't
want to
have
like Sunset Overdrive, like that's something I at least cared about. That I don't
remember much, if anything, about. I remember grinding on wires.
All of that is true. You grind on wires, you bounce on things. There's a lot of good grinding on wires, that's for sure.
But maybe the other thing I was going to say, it might be tough, is to separate out what qualifies for the generation.
Because like Grand Theft Auto crosses generations.
GTA 5, I mean, it came out there,
because we've already set the standard with remakes there.
Yeah. Well,
so if we adhere to our own rules that are already laid down, it's not eligible.
Okay. But they're trying to think of things that might be
what is it eligible in then? Is it eligible for the 360?
PS3, 360.
So
what conversation we were having?
I guess that's the games that came out on both day one.
Huh?
Yeah, so like,
I'm trying to think of an example.
Destiny.
Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
Watch Dogs, yeah.
Which generation is that?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Because it's a launch day and date.
Like Shadow of Mordor.
Shadow of Mordor came out on the 360?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It didn't have the Nemesis system in it, though.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So I don't.
So in that regard, I think maybe putting a date on it might be a better way to go.
It's a game of the decade then, if you want to do like 2010 to 2019.
as long as people understand what we're talking about.
I think game of the decade is going to be. The only thing is, I guess, game of the decade is probably going to get overdone.
That and it's going to cross generations.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to be hard to compare one generation game to the next.
Game's a game. I mean, you either, I don't know. I mean, there's visual fidelity is one thing, but still, it's more about whether you had fun with it and the story and everything else behind it. I mean, it can look good for that where that life cycle was. You know, for if it's a 2012 game, it's going to look good for a 2012 game. Is that game going to look great now? No, but it looked good at the time.
So once, if we do narrow it down to like our time frame or generation or whatever, my suggestion was that we each come up with a list of 20. That way we don't have this ungodly list.
Oh yeah,
and then whittle it down from that. So we come to the table with 20 games.
Leave your thoughts in the comments about whether you would like to see Game of the Generation or Game of the Decade.
I don't know. I think there's benefits and drawbacks to both. So
I agree.
I guess I don't really.
We'll just have to pick one and go with it. We can think about it because we'll get through Game of the Year and then we can do it early next year.
Your initial idea was Generation, so maybe we should just do Generation.
I do think that there is something interesting to be said about revisiting those games because they're still fresh enough for me because I was really playing a lot of games at the time.
Oh yeah.
And I think that also it doesn't need to be as dense a conversation as like the current year. Okay. What I mean is like, okay, GTA 5, Red Dead, like this, they gotta be on there, right? BioShock,
they're there.
BioShock Infinite, BioShock 2, no. Like
they're BioShock 1.
Last of Us on there, right? Like there are which Uncharted game isn't included? Like these are fast conversations I think that we can have.
Maybe the other thing I just thought of is if we do each come up with our own 20 lists, we're gonna have a lot of overlap there.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna be 60 games.
No, not even close.
I think it might be a fairly interesting and painless conversation. To be honest,
I think getting down to a top 10 is gonna be really easy. It's gonna be organizing that top 10.
Also like I think that there's like since we're removed, it's like there's a few games we're going to be passionate about, but like where they land, just as long as it's represented, like, and then if we have a really passionate conversation about what deserves like the number one slot, then so be it. But I guarantee that when we get to that, when we look at our list and we find that game, we remember more than we're giving ourselves credit for.
I have a feeling it's going to come down to a 2013 game.
So
and I think those will be the top 3.
Yeah, sure.
And I think we'll argue about that because I feel like we had that argument in 2013.
I don't know, man. Not for me, but anyway. So games that released, they had to be released day one on. We're talking 360, PS3, or Wii.
Yeah.
Is that Wii or Wii U generation?
Let's do Wii, because then we do.
Because Nintendo they're a half life cycle. So because the Switch came out mid this life cycle.
Just PS3, 360?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, are we really going to have a lot on the Nintendo world? You probably would, but
unless you want to bring a Wii game to that conversation. How about this? If we did the PS4, if we did PS4, Xbox One, we would just do Switch and Wii U.
Okay.
Because it's going to be like 3 Wii U games.
No, this is like 0 Wii U games.
Well, I was being kind.
Mario Maker is in that world. I was being kind. Mario Maker's a good game.
No, and there's as we talk about this, I think that there will be some
Danganronpa would
about cultural importance versus our personal lists, and that's the decision we'll have to make. But
it's not Danganronpa. It's Tokyo Mirage Sessions. It was Wii U exclusive, right?
Yeah, that game wouldn't make a top 20.
Okay.
But right. Tokyo Massage Sessions.
That's where I'm headed to.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that some more. So
okay.
Think about it. Your homework after we go through the 2019 deliberations is how do we.
This year's gonna be so weird.
I would like to.
What about a PC game that came out during those years?
I think we can tie those to console releases for the most part.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and so if they're a PC exclusive in that time frame, then
we can say that. What was it? 2006, right? So 2006 to 2014 give or take a few months.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the rarity, especially as we talk about like the real bangers of that generation, that it wasn't a concurrent release on consoles and PC.
And no remakes, right?
Well, we already laid down the law
So
there.
Bully does not qualify. In other words,
What?
okay,
No.
Bully does not qualify for this discussion.
No, because it is a PS2 game. Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
so if it is, whatever it originally released on. So yeah, like, so no Shadow of the Colossus, because it came out 4 times.
It did, didn't it? Yes, yeah, a lot. Yeah. So you might have we skipped a Persona. I'm sorry, because we skipped a console on Persona.
Yeah, there's
No. Persona's a PS3 game, right?
No.
Oh, it was in Japan.
Persona.
Sorry, Persona 5. Was a
That's
PS3.
true. That's true.
Persona
Launched
5
on
is a
PS3.
PS3 game in Japan.
And here, there's a PS3 version here too.
There is?
Yeah.
Well, then what are we even doing? It wins.
I know. There we go.
That doesn't qualify. Like, come
Don't
on.
overcomplicate it, because I have to side with Persona always. Always.
Yeah, that's not going to qualify for this list.
I'm a shaft shifter. What else would I be?
None of us played it on PS3, so
No.
All right, fine.
I know. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. It does qualify.
Coming in like a dark horse. So yeah, there you go.
Okay.
If you guys are comfortable, because then I think we could see how that conversation goes, and then zoom out from this generation a couple of years later, and then maybe do it a little faster. Because I don't know. I don't.
We've talked about this for a while.
Yeah, and I think it would be worth exploring, because there's a lot of really good games in that generation.
Oh yeah. There's
okay. So
a lot.
list of
20 each.
And next podcast we'll plan on, because really it's just Death Stranding basically, and maybe some Star Wars, and then do this.
Oh, do we? Or are we wait and do this in January?
Let's see where we're at.
Okay.
Let's not commit right now, because we also need to. It's November 7th. We need to come up with our schedule for Game of the Year stuff.
True.
And how we're going to churn through that. So let's make Game of the Year a priority from a scheduling perspective.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, especially from I'd like to finish some other things.
Yeah, sure.
Like, and then, because I think we're going to be spending a lot of time with Death Stranding is what it sounds like.
You're right. Or no time with Death Stranding.
Or no time with Death Stranding. That's also true.
See what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think because there's the January release schedule for 2020 does not look good, right? It's very February,
Dragon Ball.
March. Again, it's very February, March
Is
loaded.
that Carrot?
Yes, Carrot. Dragon Ball Carrot.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't think there's anything in January.
I think it's very March heavy. Very
Let
March
me know when
heavy.
Dragon Ball Cucumber comes out.
Okay.
Very
After, on my personal list, after Dragon Ball, which I may not even play, we'll see. The next thing is Final Fantasy. So there's a big gap.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
That is a ton.
Because Last of Us got
Kombat.
pushed back, and that's not updated on this list.
Could play so much
Yeah.
That's the one thing I don't like about this app. If a game gets delayed, you have to delete it and re-add it.
Oh, really?
Otherwise, the date doesn't get changed.
What are you on? Are you on?
Game Track?
So am I. Upcoming? Oh, there's so much shit on the upcoming list. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's all anime.
literally everything.
It's literally anime porn games.
Yeah.
all over the place.
Boner alert.
And I guess I haven't moved some stuff over. I thought I did.
There we
It's
go.
because I got a new phone and they didn't sync right. Boo.
It did. They just added iCloud syncing, so should have.
Oh, maybe it did. I thought I moved like Call of Duty and stuff over to my archive. Oh, there, it just updated.
Yeah, there you go.
It literally just updated. I just watched everything leave.
All right, I'm excited to make this. I'm going to do that like right now, I think.
To make this list?
To make this top 20 list.
I know. I'm probably I'll save this for after the podcast about what I've been working on for Game of the Year, but anyway,
You've been working on something?
just putting the list stuff together.
Oh,
It's not
okay.
exciting.
I thought you were going to say you have like a studio built or something.
Oh yeah, I got this whole thing built and set up. No, I'm trying to get as
It's on a yacht.
yeah.
Podcast adjourned.
Yes, podcast adjourned.
adjourned.
Thank you
Nice
for
job.
listening. Have a good